Hi everyone, welcome to the next Instrumentation sync on the 21st of May 2024. I think, Jonas, you have the first topic today.
Yeah, sorry about the short notice. I just thought about it, so
No
I'll
worries.
drop it
It's
in
just
there.
we're good.
So do we still need to send service ping context in snowplow events that are used in internal events? I guess that's the question. I guess the history is that we were sending it to kind of match it up with the existing metric definitions for Redis HLL and Redis metrics in the past. Yeah, but I guess now we're matching on the event name or what?
But isn't the event name included in the service ping contexts only?
Isn't that also in the action? What is it called?
Yeah, action.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in theory, I would assume you could just use the metric itself and then the action. Because
I actually found some. Oh no, sorry for interrupting.
No, you go on, please.
No, so I found some logic that will before we send the snowplow event, we will look up the metric that it belongs to, and then use in the service ping context, use the first event name that this metric has defined, which seems to could lead to all kind of confusion if you have a metric that is defined on two events, and let's say it's triggered by so somebody triggers event number 2, and then in the service ping context we put event number 1, that name.
Yeah, I mean that's an actual potential source of bugs.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think we have an issue for that. So I would very much suggest to create one. Then I think we need to reach out to Miles because he's the one that created all the DBT. At least to my knowledge, he's the one kind of the DBT master of that part. And I wouldn't be surprised if it still uses the service ping context right now. But at the very least, we should be able to change it and or figure out if we need to if the DBT stuff, maybe we don't need it at all anymore. Maybe the DBT stuff doesn't need it at all. Then we can remove it. If it needs it, then I guess we also might need to just fix it if we can't change it quickly, right? Because otherwise it might create problems with aggregated macros.
You're right, but I think you just need to check with Mars and maybe Israel because they know dependency, or maybe Michelle Cooper because they're modeling the data there. If this piece of data is in use, it can be impacted by our downstream modeling. But yeah, after you check with that, you will know more.
It would be nice to get rid of it, to be honest. Like one less thing that we send additionally. That would be good. But I think that's also something that we then would need to kind of keep in mind that it's also being sent on the front end, right?
Yeah.
And the front end definitely, like, so at least we have an inconsistency between front end and back end because the front end doesn't have any notion of metrics. So I would assume that the front end just puts in the action name into the event name. So it doesn't, because it cannot really know this information of, okay, what is the metric that's defined and what's the first event name there or something like that.
Yeah, right now, like whatever the event is being sent, like we are just putting it as an action. Yeah, that's all.
Cool. I think that's it with that topic. So Harlan,
Great.
you have the next one.
Yeah, thanks. Great opportunity to ping Nico. And Nico, regarding the snowplow fix and the data you provided me, finally I got an access. And actually, I upload all records from all files. And in summary, it's maybe 40K records, and also left explanation in the comment. Is this something we expect? Because I think from 4 to 9 April, if I'm not wrong, we have a couple of millions bad records. Or is this enough? I just want to ensure I'm watching in the right place, and also I uploaded everything. Also share log with you and see files are kind of small. So is this something we expect? And is this a complete set of data, or I missed something?
This is not, to be honest, I was checking right now and I cannot see the folders. The folders are gone. Do we have any scripts running there that processing these folders, deleted maybe or something like that? Because if I look at output, I can see only for 13s and 14s, but I was processing it before that. It was 6.
Yeah, I saw that screenshot. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, and they're gone. And I check it now. There is a, I mean, I don't know much about S3, but there is a expiration rules.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's life cycle configuration. I mean, I don't know. We need to, I mean, I probably need to message because I didn't expect that something could be deleted.
Exactly,
Seven.
because we have only read-only access. So I just retrieve the data, extract and count, and expect, I don't know, 10, 50, 20 millions or something. So just want to replace with the wrong data. So I was surprised it was almost less than 40K, and half of the data in JSON file format. Rest is fine. And it said application ID is GitLab staging, not what you expect. You said GitLab provision or something. So just want to do double check with you before I proceed. So it will be great if you can see what's going on here, right?
So
I know it's a massive data, amount of data.
Yeah, the oldest folders I see is from 13th, and today is 21st, so it's like 7 days, and there is 7-day expiration life cycle policy. Had no idea such thing could exist. Probably just either moved somewhere, or like it says like a blah 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 non-current object version to move to lesser class storage, something like that. Probably they moved it somewhere. Or maybe I hope they're not deleted. I don't. I just really try to processing that stuff again. Yeah, but
Can you
I
check
will just,
where the data is?
because as far as I understand, in the main folder of our events, it's never getting deleted. I've seen it from ages ago, right? 2023, something
true.
like that. I would expect.
Yeah, even older.
Yeah, and they say that they copied everything to kind of create a new folder. I didn't expect it, but I will just take a look at this tomorrow.
Yeah, please check on that. It's important for us to get rid of this, because I was struggling 1 week to get privileges, and then privileges also disappear because probably it's managed by Terraform. So I apply for another one. So probably I need to do the same. Just say once when you're ready, immediately I will upload all files and then we'll check. Thanks for that, Nico. Now it's clear, because I was surprised, like, okay, this is probably not the full data set we expect. Yeah. Thanks for that. Now it's clear.
I got scared when I saw a comment. I was like, Jesus, is it again like 1 week of processing this?
I know it's so heavy, so I was scared, because if they move it somewhere into kind of iceberg or very hard to reach the data, we can wait. But yeah, it will be one more additional week to wait. But yeah, please let me know what you discover. Thanks for that. Thank you.
All right. I think if it turns out that this is like such a short, so that this actually deletes things and so on, then please also reach out and make sure that maybe infrastructure or someone who has the access changes the retention period to be longer. Because I don't think, I mean, staging data shouldn't be that much anyway. So I don't think it really should cost anything to have like a retention of like a month or 2 there. We don't need it forever, definitely not. But
yeah,
only a week is really very short for any kind of, if you do any kind of evaluation work or creating like temporary data or something, like it vanishing after a week is really a bit short notice.
I see
that's
that.
true, because I was struggling to get the credentials and access for, I don't know, 5-6 days, you know.
Exactly.
So it doesn't make sense to have only 1 week. So hope they will prolong it somehow.
It's good that we discovered now. not.
That's true. That's true.
Why
Because
not?
I will be off next few days, and I would say, okay, let's finish it today or tomorrow, but probably it will not happen. But yeah, please, Nico, whatever you discover, just ping me. Thanks.
Sure, we'll keep everyone updated. Just also interesting things.
Yeah, very.
All right, Ankit, you have the last topic.
Yeah, so let me share my screen. So I'll talk about it. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the proposed unified cloud contest. So what this is like right now we have standard context which we send from the GitLab code base. It has a common information which every event should have, but we don't have any way of basically sending events outside of the GitLab code base. So we didn't basically standardize anything like if some events is going from the outside of GitLab code base. So for example, there are some applications like AI Gateway, or there is a customer dot application. So those applications are running outside GitLab infrastructure. So we don't have a standardized way right now to like what needs to be sent. So here, that's what I'm trying to set, like what should be the standard context in that case, or if we can use the standard, leverage the standard existing standard context and add few more information there. So this is about that. Any question before I start like about this? Okay. So a few of the properties like which is there would be the environment. So environment would be this like staging or production. This is the existing in the standard context as well. Another one is realm. So this can be a self-managed SaaS. We are thinking of adding dedicated as well if possible. Otherwise, like there will be a separate flag for dedicated. Then the source, this is still like from where the event got originated, like whether it was from Python, Ruby, Golang, browser, etc. This information can also be get from another column from the Snowplow. So this is still in the discussion. So the last two are pretty much interesting. So the instance ID. So basically all the cloud connector apps we have, each one has a unique instance ID, like whether it's serving a self-managed or is a SaaS platform. So we are adding an instance ID because it might be common across like whatever the cloud connector apps we would be instrumenting, and the host name, like whether it's gitlab.com or another name, so that URL would be present for that. The namespace ID, project ID, and feature enabled by namespace IDs. These three are basically are existing in this existing standard context. So it's a similar like in which namespace the event happened, in which project it happened, and the feature enabled by namespace ID is like what namespaces like user has allowed for track that namespace ID. So this is helpful for GitLab Duo, like which works across the namespaces, right? Another important metric is like who is sending the event. So like what is the user ID of that, and whether it's a GitLab team member or not, and the subscription information like plan, like what plan it is. Yeah. So basically, this all information we are trying to capture. From the discussion, it seems like we might be adding a trial information so that if we don't get from the Snowflake like the trial whether uh, like whether user is on GitLab Duo Pro trial version or not. Yeah. So let us know like if you feel like there is any other information missing which should be there. Yeah. or any questions on that. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that, Ankit. I think, I don't know if you mentioned that, but I think as far as I understand right now, the preferred way to go would be to extend the current standard context, right? So we would just add the additional information on the standard context rather than creating a new one.
Yeah, that's true.
my-
So yeah, that's true. Like apart from instance ID and host name, we have all the properties. So that should be the consensus, like if we can add it into the standard context only. Yeah.
So what will be receiving these events? Will it be directly some snowplow collector instance, or would it be the same snowplow collector that we already have in the infrastructure?
Yeah, it would be the same. Like whatever on the GitLab.com we have, it would be the same collector, and whole infrastructure would stay the same. How will we distinguish like which event came from where? Like, so first of all, we have app ID. So it is unique for like whether it came from AI gateway or not. And from AI gateway, we will be adding like instance ID, which will distinguish like from which instance like those AI gateway events came.
Yeah.
So this means that this snowplow collector will need to be open to the outside world, or will it all just stay in the cloud? I'm
It
just
is
wondering
already-
if it's
It is already open to the outside world. Our current one, like you can send your information there. And I think what's important is that the IDE extensions and AI gateway and so on. So there is already external things sending data to the same snowplow collector, and this is kind of being treated and such. The problem is that it's not standardized, right? So AI gateway is sending some information which doesn't have to do anything with standard context. It's not standardized in any way across types of events. Same happens for customer dot. And if anything else would now kind of start sending in events like observability or something, they would also not have a standard to go by.
And do you know how does security work for this? Do we just accept any event payloads? Or?
Yeah, I think that was recently a topic in Slack as well, when we talked about integrating with Optimize. Right now, the way it works is that the snowplow collector accepts anything that's a valid snowplow event. So from time to time, we have it happening that there's like directory scanning attacks or something like that, where these are not valid snowplow events that are being sent. So in this case, those are getting sent to the bad events table. They are never end up in normal events, but it's still being recorded. Any kind of request that arrives at the collector, even if it doesn't have to do anything with snowplow at all, then anything that is a valid snowplow event that gets recorded into the raw Snowflake database. And the data team then also has some filtering that they're doing on kind of the follow-up layers of the data warehouse to filter out app IDs that don't make sense. Or I think also sometimes there's trackers information or some other kind of information that doesn't make sense, where like very likely it's just kind of someone's client being malformed. So in a lot of cases, these are then probably events coming from some kind of strange browser or something. I don't know, someone trying to access GitLab on their fridge, or I don't know, on their smart fridge. And so that gets filtered up subsequently, but we don't block anyone from just sending events.
Okay, and we are sure that this data is correct because we don't show the app ID to the user, or are we just not sure that we have correct data?
Policy so far is
like I could just see URL, the snowplow collector, and say that, for example, a form has been clicked somewhere, right?
Yep. But what would you gain from it? And
Yeah.
like but especially if you do it like long term. So I think the policy so far has been, I mean, you cannot do anything through the snowblock collector. You cannot do any kind of destroying activity or something. The worst thing that can happen is that a number isn't actually correct. We never, to my knowledge, we never had an instance where we had some reason to suspect that someone modified numbers in a significant way. Which I think also ties back to why would you do that? Like, because even if you modify it, what is the gain that you get from it? Like I think the best possible outcome that you could expect is some form of minor chaos, because like a number doesn't make sense. And but you also then need to go through a lot of effort, because you would need to understand, okay, what are important events, because there's lots of events being sent, not all of them are being looked at regularly. And then, so what are important events and which events, and then you would need to kind of like copycat the whole event, right? You need to send the right action, the right labels and so on, to make sure that it then gets also tracked correctly, or that it actually modifies some kind of outcome. And it's not just like another file or something that sits somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. I mean, if it's working correctly now, then there's probably not much reason to worry about it.
Yeah.
And I think it is actually a standard. Like if we see other like competitor product like Amplitude and all, like it's also public. Like once you do that, you can actually curl and via Postman you can hit the request. So, but I think there is very less skin, as Basti said.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it then. We're through with all the topics. Anything else someone wants to bring up today? Right. Then if not, have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.